The IBB Biotech ETF rising almost 10% this year after a dismal 2016. Are more gains ahead? Welcome to Trading Nation. I'm Eric Chemi. Today we've got Craig Johnson from Piper Jaffray and Jake Weinig from Malachite Capital. Craig, we got to start with you. You're the chart guy. IBB, it's hitting some technical levels. It's not up like everything else at all-time highs, like the Dow and the S&P and so many other sectors. Can it catch up? Can it make some all-time highs? Is it time to break out here?
You know, Eric, I brought in this chart specifically today for, all the readers and everybody to see, because this is now like the fifth time we have seen the IBB stall out at this $300 level. What's interesting, though, from a technical perspective, is I drew kind of an upwards trending line from left to right, and you can see that every little pullback tends to be a higher low than we've had before. So I think on this pullback that we're getting right now, this is a very important support level right back to that uptrend support line. I suspect it's probably going to hold. Some of my longer term indicators and things that I look at in the biotech space are also suggesting that perhaps some of the lows have been in, and this kind of 18-month correction that biotech has been is unwinding at this point in time. So I suspect on this next move up, we finally break through that $300 level, and I suspect that the upside target, at least from measuring it from the chart perspective, gets us to about 360. So we like the IBB in here, and we like biotech names specifically.
Jake, when you see that chart, do you like that yourself? And if you do you want to play it straight through the ETF, or do you have a little more creative, maybe an options way of actually trying to get some of those gains?
Yeah, sure. Well, look, we look at everything from an options perspective here as well. What we've been looking at is over the last couple of years, we've seen a steady decline in volatility levels on the IBB. In fact, 3 months at the money volatility, option prices, if you would, are at multi-year lows. That being said, they're still relatively higher than where they were trading back in 2013, 2014. One of the things we've seen in the markets is people playing this using something called a risk reversal, where they'll fund buying upside calls by selling downside puts, essentially a way to get long stock. We certainly agree. We've seen a lot of people in the market betting for this to break through 300, and the chart certainly looks promising.
If you're somebody who's not trading options all the time, do you want to start doing something like that, doing a risk reversal? Do you need to start hedging the vol as it moves up and down, to get some of those gains for the vol that you're paying for? Or do you recommend that let somebody who's not as experienced, do they just go long the stock, or can they start delving into options to actually get some of the gains that you guys actually try to go for?
Sure. Using risk reversals is certainly a riskier play. It's akin to buying stock, if you would, as you're selling a put. For people who are not as comfortable with options, maybe we'll just look at buying call options outright, or potentially call spreads to limit the cost. Could be more attractive and a safer bet for them.
That's true. You could just go ahead and just buy a call, right? If you don't even want to think about it, anything beyond that. And then, Craig, I'm going to just throw it back to you here. What's the one thing that if we maybe don't hit a certain level by a certain time, do you suggest maybe this trade's not going the way you think it might? Like, where's your exit play here?
Well, the exit play for me is two things. One, just the way when you look at that chart, it's narrowing up with those higher highs and higher lows right below that $300 level. If that uptrend support line doesn't hold and it breaks, it's going to be more time required for that chart pattern to reset itself up. So that's the number one thing I'm watching there. But the way it's narrowing, Eric, it's going to have to break out meaningfully one way or the other. So from an options play perspective, Jake is right on. There's some interesting plays around this, and I think there's going to be a lot of attention on this perhaps in coming the weeks or perhaps in the next month or so.
That's true. You have a good point there. It's got to break out one way or the other, so maybe doing an options strategy is the way to go, buying some vol. It's rare that I enjoy a discussion where you guys both agree on the topic, but this was one of those times where it worked out well. So my thanks to Craig Johnson and Jake Weinig for joining us here on Trading Nation, and my thanks to you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.